wonderful educator. If you want to know anything about hemp, she is the woman to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joy Beckerman Hemp.
Thank you. Morgan, as usual, your check is in the mail. My name is Joy Beckerman. I owned the first hemp store in the state of New York in the early 90s in Woodstock. And when the first Vermont hemp bill passed in 1996, I was appointed by Representative Maslach to serve as the secretary of that council, and moved my family then to Burlington, Vermont through 1998 to serve in that capacity and to run 3 different Vermont Hemporium locations. And then relocated to Seattle, Washington, which is where I hail from now, and commenced a dual career in complex civil litigation and compliance. Earlier, before moving there, when I was still on the East Coast, back in the early days, I worked with NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, which was formed in 1970, our oldest consumer-based marijuana law reform organization. And I was the New York liaison for the Cannabis Action Network of Berkeley. The Cannabis Action Network is no longer around, but very active and very powerful, as you probably remember, and gals from California from back in those early days. I had 2 home births also while I was in the Northeast. I have never been in the closet. I just don't have that chip, and so have always been sort of willing to take what comes my way. And so I did consume marijuana throughout both of my pregnancies. I raised 2 student athletes through college. One is a senior at Washington State University. The other is out of college now and is a medic in the Civil Affairs Unit for the U.S. Army. And they were raised in marijuana, and there was marijuana being consumed by me while I was pregnant. And I answered all of those Bureau of Vital Statistics questions honestly because I wanted the hard data to be there in a public database.
Joy. I love Joy Beckerman Hemp.
So then, during this dual career period of 16 years while I was working in industrial hemp and in the marijuana and hemp movements while raising my children and working for some of the largest law firms in the city of Seattle, I founded the Edmonds Woodway Athletic Booster Club and did a lot of activism by way of that volunteering with my children from elementary to junior high into college, and still even have to do it now. We have Mom's Weekend at my son's fraternity, Phi Theta Kappa, and Phi Kappa Theta, excuse me, I was Phi Theta Kappa, and they drink a ton of alcohol there, and I'm still the only one smoking pot, so it's interesting, but to really get that activism as a woman in the schools with the teachers, really to get it out there while everyone is drinking there. And I have nothing against alcohol. Alcohol can be wonderful and jovial, but I always make it a point while people are drinking alcohol to say, oh, it's an interesting drug of choice that you have, and this is mine. Not alcohol, it's marijuana is my drug of choice. So that activism goes on a daily basis. It's really a great place where women can make a giant difference. Now, as a professional, I am the president of the Washington State chapter of the Hemp Industries Association. The Hemp Industries Association formed in 1992, so is actually our national brain trust of industrial hemp and our access to the global brain trust. I sit on the board for the Normal Women of Washington, and I sit on the board for the Center of the Study of Cannabis and Social Policy, and then an advisory board member to the MJBA, very honored. And as well to ICHIPABA, newly formed International Cannabis Health and Beauty Aids Producers Alliance. My company, Hemp-Base International, brokers all things industrial hemp. There are 50,000 products that are completely legal with regard to industrial hemp, very few things with regard to industrial hemp that are not legal. Cultivation in most states, viable seeds in most states, and resins in most states. Other than that, I broker it. And I do a lot of consulting with regard to compliance with out-of-state companies and international companies looking to get into the marijuana and industrial hemp business, so I have to stay focused on all of those changing laws. And an interesting new client, the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church of Jamaica. You may or may not know that Jamaica just legalized medical, therapeutic, and sacramental ganja. We have the